In this video, we're going to show you how to set up your scheduler, how to use the scheduler, and what all of the functionality looks like. So, scheduler is based on location, right? So, receiving or shipping out of a certain location, and those settings are under your preferences and specifically under your locational preferences. So, account settings preferences, then jump into location settings, and you'll scroll down, and this is really the section that starts. So shipping, default shipping and receiving hours, this is from what time to what time the facility can either take trucks to load or take trucks to unload, and that is going to scale down the availability for carriers or yourself to set appointments during that day. Obviously, as a shipper, you can override those default settings. Carriers cannot, but we're going to accept appointments between 8 a.m. and 4 p.m. for this particular location. Shipping and receiving blockout times. Let's say you do not load during lunch. You can set a blocking time for a specific period, and that will not allow carriers to book appointments during that lunchtime. It'll also provide a visual tool to your team in the scheduler that those blocking hours exist and to not set appointments during that time. Facility capacity is based on how many trucks you think you can unload during a day of any given facility. This allows you to stop creating shipments going to a facility or coming into a facility when you've hit that number. You can obviously add additional loading times, but it's going to show you a blocking schedule that you've hit your limit for that facility for that day. This carrier has none. And this facility cutoff time would allow you to set a cutoff time, so carriers can't book an appointment, let's say 2 hours before their delivery date, right? Or their loading time. So it makes them schedule in advance to give you better planning and that sort of thing. Again, this shipper doesn't have those, but that's what that does. Facility inbound simultaneous loads. How many inbound trucks can you unload at any given time? So if you're can think of it this way: if you have a dock and you will have two loading doors and unloading doors, you might say two. How long does it take you to unload? Again, this is setting up that window so you can stagger your trucks appropriately. If it takes you 2 hours to load, unload, you'd put in 120 minutes. This allows you to put in specific times. If you only have specific windows that you want to unload, so let's say you have an 8 o'clock and then you have a 10 o'clock, you can put those here and add specific loading time windows. So if you only unload or load at 8 a.m., 10 a.m., and noon, once those 3 appointment times are booked, it's going to force the carriers to go to the next day. So to do that, you could say, and I'm probably screwing things up here, 8 a.m., add it, right, for this facility. I'm going to fix that jumping around. 10 a.m., add it, that sort of thing. And then again, it only allows carriers to book those times. Outbound is the same thing. How many outbound doors do you have? And if you have a yard, how many unloading forklifts do you have that can actually unload a flatbed truck? If you only have one, then you can only unload one at a time. If you had 2 fork trucks and 2 unloading zones, then you could do 2 at one time. But that's what this is. And again, this is how long on average it takes your facility to unload a truck. And then again, the same thing with the unload times as the pickup times here, you can add that. This is saying you want to require your capacity providers, if they're self-booking their appointments based on these settings, it's asking them to book both their pickup and their delivery appointment at the same time. It's not necessary, but it might be a requirement of yours. Once you've added all that, you click Save, and your settings are locked in. This is a long video. There's a lot going on here. If you need help, please reach out. So to get to your scheduler, now that everything's configured, you're on your home screen. You go to the scheduler button, and it's going to bring you into the scheduler. Keep in mind, these settings are the same. So if you only have access to Appleton Building 3, that's all you're going to be able to look at. If you had access to other facilities, you could see multiple views or switch views. You can break it down by showing just the outbound, showing down just the inbound, showing all day events. All day events are shipments booked for that day that currently don't have a set appointment time. So these are booked for today, Thursday, October 2nd, but they're still looking for a window to be placed in the scheduler. When you get to the scheduler, you're going to see all of your shipments that are planned for the day. The color coding is based on certain things. Black is it's already left your facility or it's already been unloaded. Blue means it's en route. Orange is it's in loading or unloading. There are other colors, and if you click on it, you can actually, let's see, where is that? Let me click on this one. You can actually change the status in the load. So you can see these colors. If it's at origin, it's going to be green. If it's loaded in yard, it's going to be purple. If it's actively unloading, it's going to be yellow. So you can change those statuses inside of the shipment. Now you can't go to loading until it's at origin. Keep that in mind. So it's only giving you the available options that make sense in the sequence. So if you want to look at various days or multiple facilities, you can do that. It's going to split the window, Appleton Building 2, Appleton Building 3. And these will carry different schedules, as you can see. Red means it's past its window, its appointment time. All right, so that just gives you a general view, and you can reduce that view by looking at one or multiple facilities. If you only want to look at outbound, you would get rid of the inbound, so on and so forth. One last thing I will show you is to make this available to book shipments. When you're creating shipments, you need to check schedule appointment. Sorry, we're on test here. We're demoing this on test. It's a little slower. Bear with me. Okay, so when you're creating a shipment, it's a truckload. Next, this button here needs to be turned on. So it's picking up the 6th. We're expecting an appointment between 8 a.m. and 1600. Again, if you had those unloading or loading times, it would only allow for appointments to be booked at those. And then once those are booked, it's going to go to the next day. But this has to be checked in order for this to be set up. If you don't want an appointment checked, you could say the shipping window is between 8 and 10 a.m., and it's going to book that unloading time or loading time specific to what you say. But if you check that and leave the wide window, then it's going to allow for booking any time within that range. That's the fundamentals of the scheduler. Again, there's a lot going on. Play with it. This really depends on if your facility has loading doors and forklifts, or if it's got a loading and a discharging yard, how many forks you have. It's catered to your setup. So keep that in mind when you're setting this up, and let me know if you have any questions.